Hi there, my name is Kimberly Inez Mays, and today I am going to build a website with one prompt, or hopefully I'll build a good one. But if you don't yet know me, I am Kimberly, and I demystify technology so that small and medium-sized businesses can finally stop duct taping their systems and start scaling with confidence. And I do so through marketing technology and AI. Now let's get into it. I am so excited because sometimes I like to geek out with you instead of just talking. So it's going to be a geek out session slash talking session, and I'm going to be talking about AI app and website builders. And I'm going to be asking the question, and I'm going to answer it at the end, is does this replace coders and designers? And my response to you might shock you or might not shock you, but I'm going to give the answer at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to try three different apps, one of which is Perplexity Labs, which I've already demoed in another tutorial. Go check that out. But I am going to test one that is near and dear to my heart. And that one is called Lovable. That's a really nice sounding name. And you may have seen other videos on Lovable, but this is mine. And I'm going to be using another one called Bolt. And then if I so feel like it, I might pull in another one that I'm doing. And the reason being is it's never been easier to prototype your way to an idea or an app or something that you had in mind. And you usually need to know how to code at the very least of these things, HTML to, hypertext markup language to make something look pretty on the web. And then you have your front end, your client facing code, your client side code, not client facing, the client side code. You have your server side code. You'd have to know a little bit about, databases, APIs, and all of that. Right. And this kind of stuff really excites me because this is the world from which I came. I know how to do this stuff, but I also know it takes time. It's very, very time consuming. And, not only do you need to code things, but you have to pull in the right library, you have to pull in the right APIs, you have to have the right keys, the right permissions. You have to do all sorts of things on the back end that take a lot of work. And if you are a small business owner, if you're a coach or a consultant, if you have an idea, and even if you want just a basic website, what do you do? Like, how do you just do this? So we're going to do that, and we are going to see what comes out of it. And I've had varying results of success come out of these things. And I did not prep anything beforehand other than just the simple prompt that I'm going to use in all three. So the prompt is going to be the same, but you're going to see behind the scenes what it all looks like. So I know that these things take a while to process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen and I'm going to take a look. And the reason why I'm sharing my screen is because I am going to talk while this processes so that we can make the best use of all of our time. So let's go. Let's get into it. Let me just see what I want to share. I just wanted to share a tab, but I'll share the whole application window. Okay, here we go. All right. So now what we're looking at is we're looking at three tabs that I have. Here is Lovable, here is Bolt, and here is Perplexity. So I know what you're thinking before you start thinking it. Yes, there are others, and I may be leaving out your favorite if you've already done this before. I'm well aware of that, and we are going to address that right now. And there's no shortage of AI apps out there, and it's only going to grow and grow and grow. And the reason being is that I can't test or demo everything in one video or even in one lifetime. And the most important thing about my style of demoing, teaching, talking about things is it's platform agnostic. So I don't talk about the particular tool as much as I talk about the concept. Like, can you create something that is marketable and production ready with a one shot prompt? And if you can't, what skill sets do you need in order to do that? And then even if you have the skill sets to do that, how do you ensure the longevity of whatever it is that you create? That is the whole point of this video. And I know that maybe some other people might have other opinions, but that's fine because we're all different. So let's get started. I'm not going to keep flapping my gums too much because what I want to do is I want to start the processing. So by the time the processing finished, hopefully that the it's done. And I finish what I say. So, all right. So we're going to click on Perplexity Labs. So it says create a responsive, modern, warm, and interactive website for Kim's Animal Rescue, a nonprofit dedicated to blah, blah, blah. It has a color palette. It has some other things. It does include the tech stack in here only because I actually stole this prompt, not stole, but I used ChatGPT to give me a demo prompt. So without further ado, let me just run this. This is asking to create a website. And then here is another application called Lovable, where you just literally speak it into existence. So I know a lot of my coaching friends know about this whole manifestation thing. So I'm going to manifest the website in Lovable. I'm going to speak it into existence. And then I'm going to just create this and then go. So it's spinning up preview, uploading images and stuff. So it's thinking, it's working. And then let's try Bolt. Bolt is another application as well that does pretty much the same thing. Okay, not now. All right, so now this is thinking. So we have three thinking apps, right? 1, 2, 3. So it's 5 minutes, 4 minutes. All right, so that's not too bad because I was hoping that I can show you something in real time, but not have to entertain you while it's baking. But it looks like it's baking up pretty fast. Some of the applications I've used will spin up an idea and then do a check for like satisfaction or verification. And then it will say, do you like this? Yes or no? Then let's move on. Replit is like that, which I'm using for another project. But yeah, let's kind of click through each tab to see what it's doing. What I like about Perplexity Labs is that, it's giving all the sources, it's reading sources, it's accessing the web, it's creating copy and all of this stuff. So it says, I need to find examples of animal rescue websites, pet adoption and content structures, and volunteer application forms to gather ideas for designing and improving animal rescue platform. I did not tell it to do this. This is completely agentic. Of course, nothing is magic, right? We don't really believe in magic. We know how things work behind the scenes, but it's really cool that I did not have to instruct it to say, okay, well, I need you to go out and research websites, but it knew that it did not have enough information from me to understand what I wanted in a website. So what it's going to attempt to do is going to attempt to create the site using content that it sources, and it's going to cite its sources. So it's going to create a comprehensive, modern, engaging website, incorporating all the detailed specifications, include multiple pages, accessible navigation, blah, blah, blah. So let's check on the other thing that we're baking up. So we are baking up some stuff here. It's saying I'm focused on creating a solid foundation with key features. And so I don't think I gave it these pages in the prompt, but it will create this. I definitely didn't say that I wanted it mobile responsive, or maybe I did. So here's some colors, and then it's writing some stuff for me. And then with Bolt, it's showing you that it's creating the code. It's creating not only that, but you can see the components that it's creating, and then you can also see the core features. It's writing it out, design elements that I've given it, clean typography. So let's see what we get at the end of all of these. And like I said, this is done in the time that I'm talking to you, so you can get a sense of how long it will take. But the challenge is too, is for me to fill that time with my words, my thoughts. So, all right. So it says it takes about 4 minutes. So I am going to give my honest opinion prior to seeing the output. I know I said I would do it at the end, but I'll do it now. I think that these are great for prototyping ideas. Like I said before, sometimes when you're working on a project, especially when I used to do websites, I used to do a lot of like funnel building and things like that. It would take a long time to convey an idea to somebody, right? I would have to either do a mock-up. I had like mock-up applications. I had a few things going on that let me actually stop sharing for a second. Stop sharing. Yeah, I had a few things going on that I would have to prepare in advance to get the client's approval on before I can move forward. Because there's no sense in creating an entire website or entire funnel and they don't like the landing page, they don't like the emails, they don't like the components of it. So I would have to spend actual time prior to creating the deliverable in order to spin something up so that they could see. A lot of times when I put together technical specifications, documents, things like that, people who are more visually oriented would have a tougher time looking at things. So that is why this is so helpful because now you can use Lovable, Bolt, Perplexity Labs, Replit. It goes on and on. There's so many of them to spin something up pretty quickly to get that approval. Now, here is kind of my take on it, especially without seeing the result of this website, and I'm just checking to see how fast it's going to go. I might pause if it's still taking long, but I'll give you my counterpoint is that, coding, development, design, these are skill sets that a lot of people had to cultivate and learn. And it's not so easy to replace that. I know that there is a sentiment of like, oh, well, we don't need coders because AI can do it. Yes, AI can do it, but as we see with the writing world, just because AI can write, you can identify AI written text. You can identify AI written copy and marketing stuff. I see it all the time. They put a lot of filler words in it. There's a lot of like impersonalization, and it takes time and it's a craft to get it to sound like how you want it to sound. Now let's say that is part and parcel true for the development world, right? Coding is much like writing. There's pretty much different ways to get to the same result when you are writing in code. There's bloated code that is, causes more system resources to be used than otherwise would have been necessary. There's vulnerable code that is easily exploitable. It's subject to like SQL injection, for example, or whatever have you, whatever the case may be. So knowing the difference and knowing how to do this well is a skill set. And it's a skill set that I don't think can easily be replaced by AI just yet. Just like AI can't really replace good writing right now, AI can't really replace good coding right now. And I know it's getting closer and closer. But I don't think it's quite there yet. But time will tell, and I'll have to look into under the hood to see like what it produced for me and if it's the best way, the best optimized version of itself, and I'll have it check its own code. Just like, for example, if you were to give me the best paint, the best easel, the best paint brushes, and say, Kim, go paint a picture, even though I have the same materials, I can't create as nice a picture as somebody who has the skill for painting. And I think it's with these AI tools as well. As I was working with a project, I was able to tap into some of my business systems analyst skills to instruct the AI and to prompt it to fix bugs that it had already created that I've identified. And I realized that if I had not had that experience to identify bugs, to be able to clearly articulate the bug and give it suggestions on where it can find the bug, then it would have been a lot harder and a lot expensive to actually get that resolved. And with these tools, how it works is the more time you spend talking to AI, having the AI process and code and develop and work for you, the more you need to pay. You need to pay for those processing hours. And therefore, I liken it to having a paintbrush or an easel and the finest paint. It's like you need to have the skill set in order to use it effectively. But for everyone else, but for everybody else, I think that it is great to prompt something knowing that it's a prototype, it's not the full functional thing yet, and be able to say, this is what I want, go build this for me, or this is what I want, and it's not quite there yet, or maybe there is no viable market for it. Maybe I showed it to a couple of people and they said no, then you haven't wasted, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand on something that is not viable, that nobody actually wants. So it's a great way to market test your ideas, to test it with stakeholders, and to test it with and to test it with even yourself. Even maybe you create something and you're like, well, that's not quite what I had in mind. Let me see if I want to invest in it. So let's now go ahead and do another screen share of Perplexity because that is now live. So here is the website in Perplexity Labs. So it tells you a little bit about what it created. It says a complete interactive solution, meets my specifications, modern warm design, blah, blah, blah. It says responsive design, nature-inspired palette, modern aesthetics, smooth animations. It's a home page, an about page, adopt page, volunteer page, donate page, contact page. And it has technical implementation. It's accessible, as so it says. Interactive features, content management, sample content included. There's some dogs and cats. Team members. I didn't give it anything about team members. It just made this up, which is good and bad in a way. SEO performance optimization, form integration. So this was beyond the prompt that I've given it, right? This here comes that agentic part where I think, did I talk about forms and stuff? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I think I did talk about forms. Again, this is a sample prompt that I use for this purposes of this demo, so this isn't a real thing that I'm actually going to to create or deploy, I should say. So right away, it's not a horrible looking website. It's not a nice one though. It's not very accessible. Like if you have vision problems, you'll see that this says like every animal deserves love. It has a carousel. It's just okay. If I had to rate it, I would give it maybe a 4 out of 10. Like if I had to actually make this a real website, this has it's okay. It's okay. It's not horrible, it's not bad, but then, it's a site. And but if you were to give this to a client and say, okay, well, do you like these pages? Do you like this look and feel? Do you like this navigation? I can see value in that. So let me see if the other ones are ready. Oh, look, the other one is ready. So here is, oh, I don't know if that sound came through, but that was a sound that it just made. So this one looks a lot better. Oh my goodness, this one is way better. So right away we see, let me see if I can see a preview. Right away, we see that this one is looking a lot nicer, saving lives one paw at a time. Okay, the text on this button is a little light, but other than that, it's not bad. I've given it none of this text, so it filled it in for me. Has dogs and cats and view all available animals. Let me see, adoption process. Let's see, you can filter by, so the filtering actually works. Let's see if I filter for medium dogs, I get this cute little beagle. Let's see, it says a volunteer form. Why volunteer with us? Apply this role. It has. So you can see that if you click on stuff, it doesn't quite work. So then you would need to kind of go back and you need to go back and say, this doesn't work. Can you fix the buttons? The buttons don't work for me. But all in all, if you were to design a site for a client, this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. Now, would I say it should be a little bit more designed? Yes, I think so, but it's way better than what we saw with Perplexity Labs. But keep in mind, I wouldn't ask Perplexity Labs to design a site for me. That's not its wheelhouse. Its wheelhouse is really search and research. But I wanted to just throw it in there anyway. So now let's look at Bolt. Is Bolt ready? Oh, darn. Wait, hang on. Boo-boo. So potential problem detected, show problem, attempt to fix. Okay, so let's attempt to fix. So yeah, you will run into bugs and it will try to debug itself. So let's say Bolt is trying to solve its problem. That's disappointing, but that's part of the course. I think a lot of times people demo stuff and it works flawlessly and they'll specifically include the take on which it works flawlessly. But this is where the value of doing it in real time comes in, where it's like, okay, you could see me working through it. So it says, I can see the issue. There's a naming conflict, blah, blah, blah. fixing naming conflicts. So let's wait for it to work, but let's go back into Lovable, for example. So it'll tell you what it did. It's an incredible project, drawing on inspiration, blah, blah, blah. And so it kind of gave you a little bit what it did. It didn't give you like a whole like story like Perplexity Labs did, but it did create a better site. Now, would I deploy this to production as is? No, absolutely not. But it's way better than the other one, and it is a good starting point for things. Let me see if the donate page works, but the donation does not work. Oh, okay. So it's just a test. You would have to hook it up to some payment processor or something like that. So you would then need to know enough. That goes back to my developer statement. You would then need to know enough about integrations, how to plug things in, how to use certain API keys, and it really depends on your level of technical prowess. Now, I don't want to downgrade these apps because I think that this is a major, major step forward, and it also democratizes technology to where the average business owner or a leader can spin things up really quickly, prototype, make decisions, and then move forward and invest time and resources into making a full production ready creation. But you do need that back end knowledge. Okay, this is not bad. This might have been worth the wait. Wow. Okay, so we see I like the background, the hero image. I really like this. Is our mission, featured animals. Oh, this is really cute. Learn more about Whiskers. So it actually made a nice page for Whiskers. Um, this is really, really nice. Let's see. So it has an adoption page, it has a page for every animal. Here's Mittens, has two things for Mittens. Okay, Bolt, I see you. And then here's Max. So Max has a page too. All right, so the interactivity is not bad. I am not mad about this at all. They have a volunteer page, apply to volunteer. It has a form. I don't really know if this form is like fully functional or not. I'll test that out later, but I am not mad at this at all. This is really nice. I don't know how to close this box. That's the only funny thing is, oh, cancel. Let's see, there's a donation page. And then it has a form. I don't really feel like filling that out right now. The contact page as well. I think if I do fill it out, Kim, and then, all right. So, oops, and then send a message. It doesn't really do anything. Yeah. Um, Other than that, it is okay. It is okay. It's actually the best out of the three, and to be honest with you, I really do feel like it was worth the wait. Again, would this need a lot of polishing to make better? Yes. And I would hire somebody to do a website, even if they themselves use AI. I think they'll be more effective than doing a one shot and then trying to clean it up. But if you're just trying to show somebody, like, hey, we can do a website and here's what it might look like, or here's the vibe I'm going for, here's my colors, I think that that definitely could work. So I'm gonna just show this one more time. So here is the first one. No, here's the third one. I'm gonna show it backwards. Here's the third one, the one that I like the most. And then here's the second one. It was just okay, but it's not bad. This one is Bolt. This one is Lovable. And then this one is unable to get back to the home page, but this one is Perplexity Labs, which to be fair, I would not use Perplexity Labs for a website or a fully functioning app just yet. But I hope you can make some decisions for yourself as a result of just seeing these things play out. I know there are about maybe 300 dozens of other applications I could have demoed, but these are the ones that I've picked out using a very simple use case so you can get an idea of how it all works, right? Best for prototyping, so for production ready code. Would I necessarily take a website out of here? No. But I would say if you are a small business owner or even a freelancer, you need to use it for mockups, or you need to spin something up quickly in order to make a decision or whether to make a go, no go decision on something. I definitely would invest in one of these. And also, there are other platforms out there that do a lot better job that can make production ready applications, but they do take a higher degree of technical prowess. So no, I don't believe that these will replace coders, but it will change the way that we all work together. And I think it changes it for the better. Okay. So let me know what you think, because that's all I got to say about that. Actually, one more thing. If you enjoyed this content, if you found value in it, like and share because sharing is caring. I should have said that before. And also, if you'd like somebody to guide you, hold your hand as you implement this within your business or, your company, your business, your team, and you want somebody to take the reins on not only leading the design, the project management, the standard operating procedures, and also, of course, just setting up your systems and training your team, well, let's have a conversation. Let's book an automation insight session. It's a free 30-minute conversation in which we talk about what's working, what's not working, and how I can best support you. All right. So that is all I got to say about that. Until next time, stay happy, stay automated, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.